WDRB Weather is sponsored by Kentucky Farm Bureau Insurance.
The tale of two forecasts today, folks. We're looking at rain in southern Indiana. Now the storms are really starting to build up in Kentucky. That's where we start here with a live look at the radar. I want to zoom into a couple of spots here. The strongest thunderstorms approaching our area right now are racing. This line that you can see has a bunch of severe thunderstorm warnings on it and is just west of our southern communities. This is moving at 90 miles an hour. You're not legally allowed to drive that fast. That's how fast these storms are moving. You can see Bowling Green, it's moments away from you, the heaviest of the rain. Litchfield, still about 15 minutes from you in E-Town. This is a half hour away from you still, but I'm particularly concerned about this area outside Rosewood, just south of Central City here. This is trying to wrap in on itself. We've told you for about a day now that everything today is going to be able to spin. That doesn't mean everything's going to produce a tornado, but it means all of these storms have our full and undivided attention. That one just south of Central City is one of them. This is a second. Outside of Paducah, this red box, that's the tornado warning, obviously not inside of our communities, but this is a second powerful line of storms. This one's moving at 65 miles an hour, generally headed our direction. And we had a report that that tornado had been observed, that that was a real tornado, not just the storm looks like it's spinning. My concern there is that that's where we're seeing a lot of sunshine. There's a lot of instability popping up between Paducah and here. Those storms are going to be able to really build before they get to our far western communities. You can see that on the satellite there. Now, for those of you not dealing with the tornadoes right now, obviously that's most of you, the wind also really starting to pick up, moving in from the south with gusts between about 20 and 30 miles an hour. Remember, we expect that to about double. That's why there's a high wind warning in effect for many of our communities. This through 1 a.m. The dark brown is that high wind warning, the lighter tan shading here a wind advisory, just meaning the wind is still going to be strong in those spots, just not quite as strong. Here's the concern. We talked about that sunshine building up instability. We're building up a lot of that heat energy, that storm energy. And this is why I'm talking about two separate forecasts here almost. We're dealing with a threat of strong storms where you see temperatures in the 60s right now. That's enough energy to really pop these storms. Where you have temperatures in the 40s, the warm front has not hit you yet. You've been dealing with rain most of the morning. And so your threat of severe storms right now, obviously much lower. You need time to build up that storm energy before you're going to see the threat of severe storms, really the threat of tornadoes. With that in mind, the Storm Prediction Center has expanded the tornado watch to include almost all of our area. That's the yellow shading here. It's scrolling at the bottom of your screen. That means a tornado would be possible at any moment. The ingredients are there, they exist, and you need to be ready for that to happen. That's what we're prepared for here. And if you're not dealing with severe weather, you are dealing with flooding. The dark green and the red coloring here are active flood warnings. So let's walk through it hour by hour. We're watching the storms build very close with how this has been modeled, with how these predictions have played out. So this gives you good confidence that you can see those strongest storms setting up just southwest of our communities. Wind gusts up to 70 miles an hour, it's already happened. Take that to the bank inside of these thunderstorms. Outside of the storms, you're looking at gusts between 40 and 50 easily. As this moves into our southern communities where we have more energy, I'm concerned about gusts over 70 miles an hour, which can do damage. In fact, will just about do damage. I'm concerned that a lot of these are going to spin. We're already seeing that as well. And that threat is most likely in Kentucky today. Southern Indiana, you're not excluded, but we're seeing that energy, that destabilization happening in Kentucky right now. As the cold front passes through, it clears that out, and these storms are racing, folks, so it's now to 4 p.m. That's the window for the strongest storms. If you're concerned about weather, be on alert for the next couple of hours, 3 or 4 p.m. That's where this is really going to start to wrap up. We're not done with the rain completely, but we'll really be drying out once we get towards sunset and then through the weekend. The next 7 days, you can look at them here. They're also in your WDRB weather app if you'd like to take a look at the full forecast there.